question to Professor Dana? Q&A session now.
As you explained, phytobiophysics is about vibration. So, are there individual vibration frequency to our organs?
Yes, very much so. Every organ in the human body vibrates on a very specific frequency, and it can be matched to the colors of the rainbow through the nanometers. We have 7 pure colors, but every single nanometer is split into hundreds and thousands of what is the expression? No, darling, they're not musical notes. The actual nanoparticles of light. Yes, the hertz. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry, I just forgot the word. So yes, I mean, for example, they have a very specific frequency, but it doesn't just follow the principles of the colors. They follow different principles of the hexagon, more like, which is the same principle of water. But the truth is that there are many different concepts and vibrational concepts of sacred geometry of the human body. So sometimes our formulas are being created to work through the chakra system, through the meridian system, but these particular formulas are much more involved with the specifics of organ pathways and patterns. So yes, you could say, for example, that olive love is for the breathing and the lungs, the respiration, whereas the heart is supported by O2, cedar hope for the brain and the cerebral plexus and also the spine. So they're systems rather than chakras and meridians. So that's why they're slightly different. Each of the formulas have been researched to fulfill different principles, but these ones are very, very important indeed for children. We've tried to make them as powerful and as simple as we can.
For example, your formula, it's sprayed with sugar.
Yes.
Is it because of the carbon and hydrogen structure?
Yes, to a certain extent, sugar is edible, and it's one of the strongest. It holds the form in a very, very structured manner. It's what we call a solid mandala, and because of that reason, it makes a very good carrier. That's all it is, carrier. So in cases where people don't want to swallow the sugar ball, they can suck it for a little while and then spit the sugar ball out.
What kind of sugar? Ethanol?
It's actually homeopathic supply. It's the normal homeopathic sucrose. Yes. It's not ideal, but it's a hell of a lot better than alcohol.
Okay.
And it's much more stable as well. I don't know any other molecule.
No ethanol.
No, there's absolutely nothing in it at
That's too
all.
bad.
No, I'm afraid it's got nothing in it that could be classed as chemical. The only carrier, the fact that it is sugar, can upset some people.
How about fructose?
Fructose is not stable.
Okay.
And it wouldn't, it doesn't solidify as well as it should. And also it would impact and introduce a different vibration. So that the sugar is very pure and it's very simple, so it doesn't interfere, which is why we've chosen to use sugar. Most other flower essence companies are in alcohol. That firstly, they're not acceptable, especially in a Muslim country, and secondly, they're not stable.
Are you ruling it out, or are you ruling out fructose?
I would be happy to investigate, but we have looked into it and we found that this is the best.
But the moment is sucrose.
At the moment, it's sucrose. Yes.
Thank you.
It's the one that we like best. Favor.
Okay, thank you. Yes?
I just want to start by saying we are so happy to see you.
Well, thank you, and I'm really happy to be here too. Really.
Stand there for 2 hours and share knowledge. It's so impressive.
Oh,
and
well.
one question that I really want to go to when I look at the formulas. Is there a sort of a book that has a regime to it, or is it like some sort of a supplement that is extracted from fruits or flowers or that sort of thing? So what exactly is the delivery mechanism of the formula? Or
We have a book, which goes in, I've written a book, which goes into very great depth of why and how fluorescences are made for a start, and you know, how they resonate on different sacral chakra levels. The truth is, though, that we also have our textbooks and our practitioner training manuals, and we have a lot of information on the website about each of the individual formulas, and especially my website in England, which is phytob.com, which is PHYTOB.com. But yes, we are creating manuals and books. Oh, that's nice. This is how they come in these little tip packs, which is very, very clever because they're kept very clean. This has got a casing around it, but what you do is you remove that casing, tip it upside down, twist, one little pill drops into the lid. You just pull it off, pop it in your mouth, put the lid back on again. Nobody touches. So a mother, for example, gives to the child and she doesn't touch it. Pregnant women can take the pill for their baby if they're breastfeeding. And or you can treat the whole family by putting one pill into a glass of water and immediately drink. So this is a very, very good way of working with some of our other formulas. There is another range that we're going to be covering on our course, which is called Energy Defense. And it's more for supporting adult vaccines and monkeypox and all the stuff that's going on with COVID. And regrettably, the side effects of the COVID vaccines. You were very fortunate because your vaccine here, which was called Sinovac, was much safer than Pfizer. And AstraZeneca has been discredited and proven to cause heart problems. But we now know that Pfizer was contaminated with cancer, simian virus 40. And so that's probably why so many people in the United Kingdom and America are suddenly developing cancer. It's very worrying. But there's so much that we can do. You know, instead of panicking and crying over what we call spilt milk, we've created a regime and a program that is well favored, well renowned, international, and you're so fortunate to have our organization here because it cuts the price down. Otherwise, importing into Malaysia is impossibly expensive with all the taxes and things. So all my tinctures are here, all blessed and safe here for you.
So, a follow-up question. The question like, since I get the form factor and the delivery mechanism of it is a female that I will have. Is it a preventive regime or is it a problem solution?
It's a solution.
Solution.
It's a solution because working on the electrical, I'm an electrician, rather than working on the physical, you know, the physical body, which is very much in the hands of the medical professions and the pharmaceutical. It's like operations, cutting, medication. But we have created a safe solution, which is electrical. And I would love to do a demonstration if somebody would like to have a little demonstration.
I will
because-
bring you the test kit.
I'm what you call a barefoot doctor, not because I've got bare feet now, but because I believe that you could be a doctor anywhere in the world, even in the desert, without any expensive machinery, because it's always the patient who pays for the expensive stuff. And so when I train people, I train them into how to look at the energy flow in the human body. So we have what we call the electrical muscle task, which is actually very, very, very powerful and simple. Who'd like to be a guinea pig? You'd like to be a guinea pig, would you? And I think the gentleman over there might like to be a guinea pig as well. But let's start with you. Okay. If you would like to stand here. We have several ranges. These are the chakra range. That's EDS. That's special care. And this is heart. So we'll start with you, my darling. So electricity, like it flows through a house. So I want to demonstrate to see how strong you are. Can you put out your arm for me in a nice straight row and just push up for me as hard as you can? Push up. And you know you're pretty strong. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you to pop your finger there I don't want to touch you, so I'll ask you to do it. Just put your finger there. Now push up for me. And it's not as strong. So take it away and push. Push hard. I can push quite hard and you're very strong, but if you put your finger there, it's actually quite vulnerable. So another place that we can test is your navel. And again, I'm not going to touch it for you. We just push here for me. And you can see that your energy is not as strong. The energy is broken down because it's like a dimmer switch. You all know about dimmer switches, don't you? You switch it down, not enough light, the light goes dim because the electricity is being cut off, basically. And it's exactly like that with our electrical muscle. The strongest muscle in the body is the deltoid. And you're standing in what we call compensation. Push for me as hard as you can. So he's compensating for this position. He's standing in a nice straight way. But if I look at you, I can see that you're slightly crooked in your body. So when I make a focus on a central point, the electrical flow is distorted because he's not at right angles to that point. And he's standing like that, compensating. He's at right angles. That's why there's the strength and the weakness. But I'm going to just go through the special care formulas and see if any of those will strengthen you. So I'm just going to pop my hand, or literally you put your hand over them like that, and just push for me as hard as you can. And that's very, very strong. Okay. So sorry, darling, I want you to do them one by one. Just literally touch them one by one. That's it. And just I'll do it off this point. Oh my goodness me, that's gorgeous. It's olive love. So I'm going to give him this. It's a tester. It's got the little pills in it. If you just hang on to it.
Okay.
And just do this test again. Just push. And I'm going to pull you. I'm literally pulling you as hard as I can. And you can still hold it. Now, if I do exactly the same test with you, not a trick, just let's try now. And I'm just, ugh, no strength at all. You have a brand new washing machine, wonderful. You get home and it doesn't work, and you're fiddling around and you look in the plug and there's no fuse. So you put your fuse in and hey presto, it works. And this is what this is. It's an electrical fuse. So when you take this formula, you were just holding this little bottle and it was still making you very strong. But I just ask you to open your mouth and pop it in, like you feed a little baby bird. Olive love. Olive love. Well, there's a lot of reasons why you probably need olive love, and that is because you're quite tall and structural. Do you have breathing problems at all?
A little bit.
Yes.
Usually one of the nostrils.
A little bit sinusy. Okay, let's just try now, darling. Just pull as hard as you can. And it's really strong. Go to your navel and just push again. And again, I'm going to pull you. And it's very strong.
Yeah.
But if I just, that's it. Now that'll last for 4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours. And then it goes, and you have to have another one. Okay, so generally speaking, this is why amplifying the formulas enables them to carry on electrically into the system, stabilizing the electrical flow of energy. But that is not healing him. That doesn't heal him in any way, shape, or form. What it's doing is that it's regulating his electrical flow of energy, which means his body goes into healing mode. So do you understand that the formulas do not heal? It's the body that does the healing, but we allow it. It's like you walk into a room and the dimmer switch is switched right down and you can't see. You switch it up and you can see, and the body then goes into healing. That's what's so remarkable about these formulas. You cannot harm anybody, even if you give them the whole bottle, like that little girl who took the whole bottle of Apple Calm. They were just sweeties. And whole bottle of the same formula, you get the same message, and in 4 hours' time, it's going to wear off, regardless of how many pills you've had. It isn't about quantity, it's about the electrical charge that's switched on the electrical system in the body. And from that will be all the repercussions of your breathing will stabilize, you'll feel much more comfortable in your head, your sinuses will be stronger, you'll be able to deal with atmospheric pollution and maybe heal up damage from when you were a baby. So, cool, darling. There it is. Pleasure. Very nice to meet you. Would you like a phone? Would you like to have a go? You like to be a patient? Okay. So you look very well. Do you feel well? I haven't asked you any questions. You feel pretty good. Okay, I'm just going to take your wrist and ask you to put your arm out and just push for you as hard as you can. Push up. And you're pretty strong. That's pretty good. I can't budge you. I'm only a weak girl. Push again. Yep, that's pretty fabulous. Now, can you just put your finger on your forehead? And this is your special spiritual point. And just push for me again. And it's not so strong. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
And just push again. Now, I'm not pushing any harder, but it's vulnerable. Just push again. That's pretty good. Okay, so I'm now just going to use the special care because special care. So if you could pop your hand over those. And we'll just see if any of them strengthen you. Just push for me. And they do. So that's nice. Would you like to do them one by one?
Take one.
Nope, just touch one by one. No. I got to test it. Okay, push. Not that one. So you don't need that one. And the next one. No. And the next. Sorry. I need to make an electric circuit through you. Not that one. See, they're not making you stronger. They're not having any benefit at all. And this one, please. And hopefully that one. And just push for me. That's the one. Okay, well, you've chosen Linden Balance. I think that is Linden Balance. Is that Linden Balance, Tony? Is it?
Walnut.
Yes?
Walnut.
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 Oh, it's walnut. Where's Linden Balance? There. Okay, so you've chosen walnut. Well, walnut is for your tummy. So if we just go back to your tummy and just pop your finger there and just push for me. It's a little bit weak. Do you get indigestion at all?
Yeah, sometimes.
And hold it down to the navel and just push for me. And I should be able to push really hard. Oh, that's good. So walnut comfort. So really interesting because it, there we go. Baby bird. Baby bird. Okay, let's try again.
I'll put it.
And push. Okay, you're going there. And push hard. No, that's really good. Now that strength lasts for 4 hours, which gives your body a chance to start healing itself.
You got it.
See, we don't have to heal the human body. The human body heals itself. You've got to know that every cell in the human body is programmed to be 100% healthy. Not programmed to be sick, programmed to be healthy. If we tune the body in the right way, wow, anything is possible. The body immediately goes into healing mode. So you may need other formulas, but for the moment, that's the one for you. Yes, walnut comfort. Thank you very much. That's right, they're all in different order.
Yeah, just now it's in different order.
Sorry, darling.
Question from the.
Linden Balance. Yes?
And Apple can be used for autistic adults for the same beneficial result as in children. Why is it suitable must not be touched by hands?
Okay, that's easy. The question is, can Apple Calm be used for autistic children as well as other children? Is that right?
Yes.
Adults. Of course, it can be used for adults, and certainly it's used for children. Very, very, very important, because quite apart from anything, apart from the fact that Apple Calm is specifically created to get rid of chemicals. Now, chemicals could be birth chemicals like epidural, induction drug, the vitamin K that's given to baby when they're immediately born as an injection to negate the side effects of epidural. But then, of course, you've got other drugs as well, other chemicals in the atmosphere, and again, medication, Ritalin for autistic children. So yes, it's a very, very powerful formula for children. It's a very powerful formula for adults as well. And especially for mothers who've had epidural and birth procedures and induction drugs and or people who are on very heavy levels of medication. So Applecalm has many, many areas. It isn't just for fitting, it's for supporting the body to eliminate, enabling the body to eliminate harmful chemicals. So that's thing. And then what was the other question? Oh, why can't we touch the sugar ball? We've just been asked by one of our Zoom friends, why can't we touch them? The reason we can't touch them is because they're so pure and so unstable that if you touch them, you can pollute them and spoil them. And so we have one rule for everybody. We're packaged specifically so that they do not need to be touched. That's the most important thing. They don't need to be touched. And because we don't want them to be touched, we don't want you to touch it. Mothers giving the remedy to their babies shouldn't take the pill and put it in their mouths. They don't need to. They can tip it, throw it into the mouth. Do not touch the tablet. Your hands could have dirty things on them. They could have all sorts of things on your fingertips, and you can contaminate the formulas. And it's a pity. They're not, you know, they're so created in such a pure way to keep them as safe and as powerful as possible and as uncontaminated, which is why we do not touch them. Do not touch the tablets. It's a very golden rule, and it's a rule we use for everyone. So yes, that's why we say don't touch the pills. Lovely. No, and I think not. Oh, you want to answer a question? Come and ask the question, little darling.
How do you make sugar ball?
I don't make the sugar balls. I have to buy the sugar balls because I don't know how to make sugar balls. That's the question. But we do use the sugar balls to spray the pills on, to spray the tinctures onto the sugar balls. No, we have to, unfortunately, we have to buy the sugar. I can't make sugar. Very good question. Very good question. Well done. A sugar ball baby. Yes, sweetheart.
Time is already on medication.
Superb. There's no war. There's no war whatsoever because they're working on completely different dimensions. And in point of fact, what is so lovely is unlike homeopathy, which are diluted and often for example, homeopathic nosodes, where they take the vaccine and they dilute it and dilute it and dilute it. But we don't have to dilute anything. We don't dilute anything. We make the formulas by activating them, by adding and, you know, literally building the formula over a period of time through many additions and many different little essences. And so, what was the original question? Sorry, Don.
If somebody's already on medication.
Oh, yes, that's right. If someone's already. No, not at all. They do not negate the medication. They support the patient. In fact, yes, if somebody's on chemotherapy, for example, we definitely would put them on Applecalm. Sorry, I beg your pardon. We would definitely put them on Walnut Comfort, plus another formula that we haven't talked about tonight, which is called Tree Formula U for the digestion. So yes, we would use the formulas to negate the side effects of chemicals and specific chemicals, because chemicals vibrate on their own frequency as well. Certain chemicals poison the brain, some chemicals sedate the body, some activate the body and become incredibly agitated and will cause inflammation. Other chemicals are very sedative and cause, you know, low blood pressure and hypoglycemia. So yes, we use the formulas to make medicine safer. Let's use the word safer rather than safe. That's a very valid question. We're not interfering with medical treatment, which is why Theta Bar Physics works alongside other philosophies. We work alongside osteopaths, chiropractic specialists of every single different kind. We don't interfere with their work. we enhance it and enable the body to handle whatever it is that's happening to them. So that's an important question. Thank you for asking it.
How do you determine what is a suitable formula if the patient has mental, emotional, or spiritual issues?
That's an important question as well. How do you determine which formula you would use? We always test, and because we have the ability to do so. And intriguingly enough, if you have a patient who's a child who can't do the muscle test, we would use a surrogate, because a surrogate can do the testing, and I could demonstrate that for you. Yes, the importance there is that it's perfectly suitable to work alongside any other modality. And what was the other question?
If the patient has mental, emotional, or spiritual issues.
If the patient has mental, emotional, or spiritual issues, the intriguing thing is that when we test, we'll always go to the most important issue first. And these formulas will prioritize. So they will always prioritize a spiritual issue before they deal with a physical issue. Physical issues are less important. So it's always spiritual first. So it would work on, if you imagine something, if you've just tripped over and stubbed your toe and, oh, it really hurts, but then the phone rings and you have shocking news about somebody you love, what are you going to be most interested in? What are you going to be most in need of help for is going to be the spiritual tragedy that you've just heard about, and you'll forget about your toe. Likewise, if you trip over and hurt your toe and then you break your arm, you're certainly not going to be worrying about your little toe. You're going to be worrying about the priority. And now this is what's so very, very exciting about vibrational medicine, is the body, brain is so clever, and it will always prioritize. If, for example, your patient has cancer, we would never be able to diagnose cancer from flower formulas because cancer is a medical terminology. What we could see, though, is a predisposition to a serious health problem. And the brain would always say, where does it need to go first? And invariably, we have to go to the heart. We have to enable the body to be able to, the heart to beat. We have to enable the breathing and the function of the circulatory system as the biggest priority. So we would go to our range called the heart power range, always as a priority. If that's not needed, then we would go to the tree formulas, the very, very powerful. The 10, we've got 5 heart power formulas, 10 tree formulas, and then we've got the 20 flower formulas. And their ranges are fascinating because with the flower formulas, you can make any paint, any picture you like, you can combine them and make wonderful combinations to create your own permanent, private medicine, your own private thing. It's like a child can paint a beautiful picture and then an artist can paint a masterpiece. And that's how we can use our formulas. But the truth is that when we work as practitioners, our clients, because most of our practitioners are not medical doctors, so we don't have patients, we have clients. And when we work with a client, their brain will always prioritize what they need to do most first. And likewise, we can take a test, and in some cases, people are so confusingly unwell, they don't even know where to start. And so you will actually go through the ranges in level of how strong they are. We always start with our most powerful range. Then we go into the trees, which are actually spectacular. They're made from 1,000-year-old trees, barks and seeds and nuts from very, very ancient trees. And then we do the beautiful flowers. And only recently, and when I say recently, I mean only in the last 10 years, have we digressed a little bit to create these ranges, which are literally mending damaged children and mending now damaged adults. And during our course, we'll be covering this in very great depth because it's terribly important knowledge. Very, very important indeed.
Last question.
COVID vaccine affected patients. How do we detox the body from the toxin in the vaccine?
Okay, it's a very important question, probably the worst question to ask at this time in the evening, because it's a very long answer. The truth is that we have a range of formulas called energy defense support, energy defense, energy support. And these six formulas have specifically been evaluated and researched over a period of time to literally build up the body's immune systems and to help to overcome the damage from whatever the vaccines are. They're very different. They have very different pathology, and that's also complicated to explain. The Pfizer vaccine paralyzes the first cervical vertebra, the first thoracic vertebra, causing the head to become very heavy. So often the first thing that happened after Pfizer is people suddenly, their head suddenly fell very heavy on their chest. And that was quite devastating. It has a devastating effect on the spinal cord. So in order to support the negative effects of Pfizer, we first of all have to support the spine, possibly with Cedar Hope, the one we talked about earlier, plus other formulas. Again, the Sinovac was different. It had a different pathology. AstraZeneca had a different pathology. Moderna was very similar to Pfizer. Johnson & Johnson was very similar to AstraZeneca. So what people didn't get told was, oh, you go down that line, you go down that line, and it depended entirely on which direction you went as to which vaccine you were given. And there were no investigations. Nobody had any medical records. Nobody knew whether these vaccines were safe or not. And it is a very great regret that they're not safe, and not safe in any way, shape, or form. And they did a lot of damage, both physically and spiritually. So yes, we've got a bit of work to do to try and mend people from that. And an answer to that question, you have to come on the course.